Merry meet everyone, welcome back to My Pagan Life as always, and before I start today's video, I'm gonna take a sip of apple juice. That is some really good stuff. But anyway, have you ever wondered what animals, or more specifically your own pet, might have to do with magic? You know what? Let's have a chat about that. Animals tend to be a huge thing in lore of all kinds, really. Maybe an animal is the main character of a tale, or maybe they're just generally depicted with some awesome magical abilities or traits. And when you think about it, it's pretty obvious why. I mean, animals have fascinated humans for all of human history, at least as we know it. And for many of us, they play a significant role in our lives in some way, shape, or form. Now, I know an animal as well that is incredibly important to me, that is very important in my life, and that is this guy. For those of you who don't know, this is my pet cat, Raisin. Or, I just call him that in English, really. His real name is actually Rosin, which is the Norwegian word for raisin. But that's besides the point. The real question here is actually quite different, and that is, what is Raisin really to me? Well, first and foremost, Raisin is my baby, and I'm his mom. Because I love him so much! But of course, along with being a young adult, I am also a witch, and witches tend to be associated with animals, or more specifically, they've been thought to have magical helpers in the form of animals. So, is there more to this relationship? Honestly, it's all a matter of definition, but witches can indeed have animals as their magical helpers, and this is most commonly referred to as a familiar. A familiar can aid a witch in their craft in a variety of different ways. Maybe you vibe with your animal in such a way that it makes spellcasting easier, or maybe you do observe that your animal does have some sort of natural affinity for magic. At least these are the things that I think of when I think of a familiar. However, I have come to find that different people define this term very differently. Some people call an animal companion a familiar simply when said animal has a special bond or connection to a witch. Others have a more spiritual definition of what a familiar is, and essentially defines a familiar as an animal that in some way or another inhabits some sort of spirit. Hey guys, I'm here to disturb the video in order to give a bit of a correction here. There are 2 times throughout this video where I say that this definition suggests that an animal is inhabiting a spirit. That is of course completely wrong. It's the other way around. There's a spirit inhabiting an animal. That's just an error that I did not notice in the moment, and that happens sometimes, but it was so important that I just thought I'd say it. So yeah, over to the video. So the familiar is not so much the animal as it is the spirit inside of said animal. And what basically makes this spirit specifically your familiar is that it has chosen to work with you and your craft and to aid you in your craft. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I prefer my definition the most. Here are some reasons why. First off, having a connection to an animal is something a lot of people have, regardless of their religious ideas or their spiritual beliefs. So according to this definition, my Raisin is apparently my familiar. On the other hand, however, the definition that basically suggests that there's an animal inhabiting a spirit, well, I can't be quite sure what to think. I don't know how to identify that, but to me it sounds a bit unlikely, or at least somewhat rare. Besides, and this is just my opinion, it might be totally personal, but I feel like this definition kind of blurs the line between what a familiar is and what a spirit animal is. Because this basically means that the difference between a spirit animal and a familiar is that a spirit animal is in the spiritual realm of sorts, whereas a familiar is an instance in which a spirit has actually physically manifested itself into some living creature. And honestly, I don't know how likely any of this is, but much less how likely it might be that a spirit is living inside an animal that has come to aid you specifically. At the end of the day, I believe that a familiar is an animal that aids a witch in their craft. As simple as that. Doesn't need to be more complicated than so. And I may be wrong, technically speaking, and I might have not considered all the information there is to consider, so if you have some input on that, leave it down in the comments below and tell me what you know and what you think. But to answer the question of this video, no. Raisin is not my familiar, at least not according to my definition and experience. Raisin and I don't really have a lot of contact during the day because, well, he's an outdoor cat. And he loves cuddles, but he's not really one to sit patiently beside me while I'm casting my magic spell, and honestly, I can't think of a single time when he's really done that, ever. Or at least not during the time I've been a witch. But I love my kitty so much. We've almost known each other for 11 years now. He's as much part of the family as anyone else, and he's one of the most important living beings in my life. I'm the one who picked him as our pet, I'm the one who gave him his name, I give him food and cuddles and strokes on the head, everything. He will forever be my baby, I will always be his mommy, that's about it, and it's all that matters. But what about you guys? Do you know any creatures or have any animals in your life that you have a special connection to? If so, are they your familiar or are they simply a companion? Let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts, your opinions, your experiences, or you know what, make sure to tell me if you've ever considered getting yourself a pet, like if you don't have one and you've been considering it. But other than that, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more content on this channel. And until then guys, blessed be from my pagan life.